Samantha Bennell disappeared on September 24th, 2005. When a person disappears without a trace, often the most critical information is hidden in their actions and words from the days before they vanished. Samantha Bennell's last known whereabouts may hold the clues to what happened to her. A rebellious teen who's run away before suddenly vanishes far from home.
If we couldn't get her home, she was gonna end up something really bad.
Her fun night out with new friends turns into a nightmare.
You know, she left with them. She didn't come back with them. Where's she at? It was panic.
Investigators uncover frightening clues.
My concern was that somebody may have been chasing her.
Her mother begins an agonizing search through a shadowy world that leads to a shocking discovery.
It became my secret prison. I think that's maybe the worst thing I ever had to do. It was just heart-wrenching. My baby girl was missing, and I had to find her.
18-year-old Samantha Bennell and her 22-year-old boyfriend Chris work together on a magazine crew, a traveling group of young people who sell magazine subscriptions door to door.
We traveled around the United States. They would drop us off in different neighborhoods, basically just peddling magazines door to door. Sometimes it would be apartment buildings, condos, townhouses. As long as there was a door there, you knocked on it.
Samantha and Chris met just a few months earlier, in July.
You hit it off right from the start. She stood out to me. She had bright eyes. She was pretty bubbly. She always had something nice to say about people, and I really enjoyed that about her.
After growing up as a restless teen in Alaska, Samantha craved adventure. When she found the magazine crew job, it seemed like the perfect opportunity.
She had decided that she wanted to see the world. It was just, oh wow, you're gonna take me all over the country and I'm gonna get to see everything. If something sounded good to her, she'd just do it.
She was a free spirit. She enjoyed the thought of traveling the United States, meet new people, and get paid to do it. You know, it was awesome. We were all doing the same thing pretty much, you know, just all trying to escape something.
Even though Samantha and Chris loved traveling, working on the magazine crew became a grind. They leave their team in Sacramento, California.
They just kind of slave drove us. There was no excuses, you know, you didn't have your sales for the day. You were bumming off somebody else to eat. We just wanted to get off the road.
I got a phone call from Samantha and Chris, and they were stuck in Sacramento, California. They had enough money for one night in a motel room. I paid for a second night, and I did as I had always done. Where do you want to go? I'll buy you a plane ticket home. I'll buy you a bus ticket to your grandma's. I want you to come home, but if you won't come home, where will you go that you're safe?
Samantha tells her mom they want to go to Chris's parents' house near Claremont, California, about an hour east of Los Angeles.
I wouldn't send them unless they gave me Chris's parents' number and let me call and make sure that there was a place for them to go to.
After talking to Chris's mom, Mary buys the young couple bus tickets from Sacramento. Samantha gets in touch with Mary once they arrive.
Samantha called me, and it's like, Mom, I'm here, I'm safe, everything's okay. I love you, I'll call you later.
But it would be the last time Mary hears from her daughter before she disappears. Chris and Samantha stay with his family near Claremont, but things don't go as planned. Reluctantly, they decide to return to their old magazine crew.
I was hoping that my mom, she would let us stay there and it would be all right, but like that wasn't gonna happen. We decided that the only other way we were gonna be able to stay together is if we stayed on the magazine crew. And I asked my mom for bus money, for tickets to get back up there.
As Samantha and Chris wait at the bus station to rejoin their old crew in Sacramento, a new opportunity arises. One that will impact their lives forever.
Two guys approached us and asked us if we wanted a job, and I already knew that they were going to try to get us on some kind of sales crew.
The couple is recruited to join a new magazine crew that's staying at a hotel next door. Samantha and Chris go to the hotel and hang out. waiting for the rest of the team to return from work.
We just wanted to wait for everybody to get back and see who we were going to be around. Who are these people, you want to meet them. But everybody seemed pretty cool, and she ended up talking to a couple girls.
Samantha tells Chris that some of the crew members are going to the movies.
She asked if I wanted to go too. I said, go ahead. I don't want to go. Have fun and, be careful. See you when you get back. And I gave her a kiss, and she took off.
Several hours later, the crew returns to the hotel. What should have been a relaxing Saturday night suddenly takes an ominous turn. Samantha isn't with them.
At first, I didn't even know what to think. I was like, where the hell is she? She left with them. She didn't come back with them. Where's she at? It was panic.
Desperate, Chris starts drilling the others.
I asked everybody, where the hell's Samantha at? And she got up in the middle of the movie and she just ran out. She was crying. Okay, well, what else? What else? And there was nothing else. They weren't telling me anything else. That's all that happened.
Chris hears the same story from several crew members who'd been at the movies, including a girl who'd been sitting near Samantha. Chris finds their lack of concern for Samantha troubling.
They just let her run out of the theater, and that always kind of struck a chord with me. It's like, who's like that, I would have tried to follow her and see what was going on with her. Just never added up to me.
He hadn't noticed any signs that Samantha was upset earlier in the evening at the hotel.
It was very surprising to me that she was in a happy mood when she left, and they're reporting to me that she got up crying, running out of the theater. It didn't make sense.
The crew members tell Chris they didn't see Samantha when the movie was over.
They said that they had gone, upstairs and checked out if she was there or not, and she wasn't there. They didn't know her, so, maybe they thought she was back at the hotel. I don't know what they thought. They kind of just passed it off nonchalantly, like it was nothing. And it made me mad.
Even though he's upset by their attitude, Chris believes what they're telling him is the truth.
I talked to one guy right there at the van as soon as they pulled up. But all the rest of the people, they all said the same thing.
Chris heads out to search for Samantha at the theater.
The guy that takes the tickets, I asked him if he had seen anybody running out of the movie theater. Looked like she was upset, and he said, no, I haven't seen anything like that. I searched around, I searched the parking lot, just looking around everywhere, and I didn't come up with anything.
Chris makes the hour-long walk back to the hotel. He doesn't see Samantha anywhere along the way.
I felt pretty helpless. I didn't even know if she knew how to get back to the hotel.
Back at the hotel, there's no sign of Samantha.
So I called her mom. I asked her if she had heard from her, and she said that she hadn't.
By this time, it's about 1 o'clock in the morning. Chris tells her the magazine crew's puzzling story. When Mary hears that Samantha seems to have run off, she tells Chris something he doesn't expect. Coming up, was Samantha hiding something from Chris?
I just remember thinking, how could she do that to me? How could she do it?
Samantha Bennell doesn't return from the movies. Her boyfriend Chris calls her mom in Alaska. What he learns is disturbing.
She told me that it wasn't unlike Samantha to just go off and do her own thing and not tell anybody where she's going. Basically, it sounded to me, kind of like she probably took off on you, and she might be somewhere else with somebody else.
I was pretty sleepy when he woke me up. I think I mentioned to him that she'd had a boyfriend that was in a nearby city. She had run away so many times, anything got stressful or too hard. It was kind of her MO. If she didn't like what was happening, she'd leave. She'd go find something else.
Samantha's mom, Mary, recalls Samantha first acting out when she was about 13, after Mary and Samantha's stepfather moved the family to Palmer, Alaska, about an hour north of Anchorage.
Samantha kind of was withdrawn from the family, and there were a lot of arguments. She was angry with us for moving her. She tended to sneak out her window at night and go do what she wanted to do, party with her friends.
Mary saw a side of her daughter begin to fade away.
Samantha was extremely bright and made friends easily. When she'd walk into her room, she'd just light it up. She did extremely well in school when she wanted to.
Mary's attempts to get this former A student back on track seemed futile.
We'd sent her to counseling. Everything we attempted to do just seemed to backfire on us. She got bold enough where she'd just walk out the door and slam it in her face. She'd run away for a day or two, but we'd know where she was. One of her friends would call us and let us know where she was, or she'd call us and let us know where she was. I think Samantha felt like she was less than everybody else somehow. She really wanted to be part of the group so much that she tried drugs and she'd drink. And I think if it hadn't been for peer pressure, I don't think she'd have ever done those.
After about 3 years of trying to rein in Samantha's wild behavior, Mary says her 16-year-old daughter went to a treatment program.
It was just not quite the worst time in my life, but close.
But according to her mother, when Samantha came back, she began turning her life around.
We were talking and finally got to the point where the fight was over and my daughter was my friend again. She was attending night classes to finish her high school and working during the day. I envisioned my daughter actually having a future rather than ending up on the streets, hooked on drugs, running from everything and everybody. It was just like the end of this long, dark tunnel.
In March 2005, Samantha shared a new plan with her mother. She wanted to go to California with her roommate's brother.
I was a little worried about her going to California. She struggled so hard to get where she's at. She's doing good, but we couldn't really stop her.
Any fears Mary had began to ease once Samantha arrived in Southern California.
I'm hearing from her 2 or 3 times a week. He's taken her to the beach and he's taken her to the mountains. I could just hear the happy in her voice.
But by May, about 4 months before Samantha vanished, her calls to Mary became more sporadic.
We're lucky if we hear from her once every 3 weeks. And all of the same people that she'd been involved in drugs with were hearing from her almost daily. When we do get a phone call, it's just, "I'm okay, Mom," and I'm not hearing my happy girl anymore. I'm hearing the girl that I fought with that was on drugs, that something just wasn't right with. And I knew that if we couldn't get her home, she was gonna end up something really bad.
Then, in July, she joined the magazine crew where she met Chris. The night Samantha disappears, Chris is saddened to learn she has a habit of running off.
My girlfriend just left me, how would you feel, I just remember thinking like, how could she do that to me? How could she do it? After that, I was a little bit less frantic. I wasn't really thinking that she was in a whole lot of danger.
Chris tells Mary that he'll hang on to Samantha's things, which are still with him at the hotel.
There was definitely a spot where I hoped that she would come back. It just never happened.
About a week after Samantha disappears, Chris and the magazine crew head to Phoenix, their next destination.
After that, I didn't really have any contact with Samantha's mom at all. I did think about contacting her, but if she just left, then that's not even something that I want to think about. It's just a bad memory, my girlfriend leaving me.
In the days after she hears about Samantha running out of the movie theater, Mary is in an all-too-familiar limbo.
I'm thinking that I'll hear from her soon, needing money or a ticket or help of some kind.
At the time, she suspected that Samantha was running away or was displaying some of the same behavior that she had in the past.
Still, Mary can't help checking to see if Samantha's all right.
Over the next few days, Mary attempted to contact Chris's mother, but received only voicemail and didn't get any callbacks.
I called everybody on my phone list that I had for keeping track of her, that she kept in contact with regularly. I probably did that for every day for a week, and nobody had heard anything. She never stayed out of contact with everybody for a week. She might not have called me, but she never stayed out of contact.
As the days stretch on, Samantha's silence leaves Mary panicked. This begins to seem like more than her daughter's rebellious behavior. Finally, after nearly 2 weeks, Mary tries filing a missing persons report. Police in Alaska tell her to contact authorities in California. But Mary has no idea which precinct in California to contact, since she doesn't know where the theater or the hotel were.
The only thing I had to go on was Chris's mother's phone number.
After locating several precincts that might be in the area, Mary is told that an 18-year-old has the right to leave home without contact. Still, Mary keeps trying.
But if I didn't have a last known address, they couldn't take a missing persons report. And I gave him the phone number for Chris's mother, and they said, that's not our area. And I said, well, what area is it? I don't know, and they hung up on me.
Mary realizes she's alone in her search.
I always thought that, when somebody went missing, you went through your police department and they helped you. And I couldn't get any help.
So she turns to the only resource she has left, the internet.
I searched her credit history to see if if she'd applied for a job or, an apartment. Information about human trafficking, doing everything I can to try to find any kind of hint of her.
It's been 2 months since Samantha Bunnell disappeared. As the holidays approach, Mary hopes she'll be hearing from her daughter any day now.
Samantha never let a holiday go by without calling. And she never, ever missed sending her Aunt Liz a Christmas card.
But Christmas comes and goes. No one hears from Samantha. As 2005 draws to an end, Mary's outlook is bleak.
I figured when she didn't call by Christmas that the only thing it could be is that she was in a position where she could not call. Somebody had abducted her or she had been trafficked. This wasn't Samantha being angry or using drugs. I knew something was really wrong.
Now that the holidays are over, and Samantha seems to have completely dropped out of contact, Mary shifts her online search to a darker focus.
By January, I don't think I'm searching anything but unidentified body websites. It became almost a nightly ritual. The Doe Network is the website that I looked on the most often.
The Doe Network, a volunteer-run website, has compiled a database with artist renderings of the unidentified dead. It includes details of when and where an unidentified body was found, anything that might help someone identify their missing loved one.
Searching it is just unbelievably horrible. The images that stay in your head, they're there forever and they don't go away.
Mary spends her nights searching for Samantha, scanning picture after picture.
I kept it kind of secret. I didn't want anybody to know that I was looking for my daughter's dead body. My husband thought that it wasn't healthy for me to be doing that. When my husband would go to sleep at night, I would slip out of bed and search the internet all night long, and when it was time for him to get up and go to work, I'd slip quietly into bed next to him, and when he'd go to work, I'd get what I had to done and back to searching the internet. It became my secret prison.
The grisly routine becomes Mary's only way to keep going.
My baby girl was missing, and I just didn't have a choice. I had to find her.
Four months after Mary learns her daughter has vanished, she gets another unexpected call. This time, it's from a detective in Hanahan, South Carolina, with a possible lead.
They had found Samantha's luggage.
Coming up, is Samantha in danger?
Inside the luggage was some of Samantha's clothing, along with male clothing.
Four months after Samantha Bunnell disappears, her mother Mary fears she may be dead. Then, Samantha's suitcase turns up in Hanahan, South Carolina, more than 2,000 miles from where she was last seen.
When they found her luggage and called me, I had this glimmer of hope that she was still alive.
The Hanahan detective tells Mary that a man spotted the suitcase sitting in his driveway, with no idea how it got there. When Hanahan investigators open the suitcase, what they find is disturbing.
Inside the luggage was some of Samantha's clothing, along with male clothing.
It was mostly men's clothes and baseball hats. There was a sweater of Samantha's that I had bought her, and one of Samantha's socks, but nothing else in the luggage was hers.
When Mary tells Hanahan detectives that Samantha has been missing for 4 months, they begin searching the area, hoping the 18-year-old might still be nearby. But by now, the lead seems to have gone cold.
No one had seen her. They even did a press release to see if anyone knew Samantha's whereabouts.
After about 3 weeks, Hanahan investigators find no trace of the girl who'd set out to see the world. But the detective handling Samantha's case does discover another way to help locate her.
When I told him how long it had been since we'd heard from her, the first thing he did was scold me for not filing a missing persons report. And I said, whoa, stop. I've tried to file a missing persons report. Nobody will take this report, and I don't know what to do. He said, I will make sure that this gets done. And he contacted the Alaska State Patrol, and he told them that if they wouldn't file the report, he would.
6 months after the September night that Samantha vanished, Alaska State Troopers finally file a missing persons report. It goes into a database called NCIC, the National Crime Information Center, making Samantha's record available to law enforcement nationwide.
I felt like I had help. Now, instead of just me looking, I've got hope that maybe if she's pulled over, they'll say, you're reported as being missing.
Authorities ask Mary for Samantha's identifying data, like fingerprints and dental records, to include with her missing persons report.
I think that's maybe the worst thing I ever had to do. It was just heart-wrenching. When you bring in dental x-rays, you know you're not looking for a live person, and a good chance you're not even looking for a whole body. You're maybe looking for just a piece of it.
Mary tells police they can find Samantha's fingerprints on file from when she'd run away from home years earlier. An entire year passes after Samantha's luggage turns up, and Mary gets no new information about her daughter's case. Her brief hope that the free-spirited 18-year-old might be found alive starts to fade. Once again, she begins obsessively poring over pictures on the Doe network.
It got to be the point where I was doing it even during the day. I wasn't hiding it as much.
One night, a face on her computer screen grabs Mary's attention.
I found a picture that kind of looked like Samantha. It looked like she could have been a sister or a cousin. I couldn't seem to get past the description of the clothing was exactly the type of clothing that Samantha wore.
The girl in the photo was found wearing a jogging suit. But when Mary reads the rest of the description, she realizes this probably isn't Samantha.
The shoes are size 7, Samantha's got size 5 feet. There were no freckles. And the composite drawing had perfectly straight hair, and Samantha had curly hair that she hated for as long as I can remember.
Mary also believes that the NCIC system should have beat her to this discovery.
Since they filed the missing persons report, it should have automatically matched.
The NCIC system compares data from missing persons reports, like age, gender, and date last seen, with records of the unidentified dead. If there's a match, investigators are alerted and can compare fingerprints, DNA, or dental x-rays.
So this couldn't be her. This couldn't be Samantha.
But Mary can't help coming back to the picture of this girl.
I'd end up looking back at this same picture every night. The date matches the same day that Samantha went missing. It's within hours of the time that I got the phone call.
Finally, Mary emails a link of the girl's description to someone else close to Samantha.
I emailed my sister, Liz, a copy of the picture. When Liz called me the next morning, she said, "I think it's her."
Coming up, has Mary finally found Samantha?
The first thing he told me is, "No, it's not going to be your daughter."
Almost 2 years after Samantha Bunnell never returned from the movies, her mother, Mary, wonders whether she's found a Jane Doe that might be her daughter. Mary gets up the courage to call the contact listed on the Doe Network page. She reaches David Van Norman, deputy coroner in San Bernardino County, California.
I told Mary that I didn't believe that this could be her daughter.
Van Norman says that for the past 19 months, the San Bernardino coroner's office has tried unsuccessfully to match 159 missing girls with this Jane Doe, number 1705.
He told me, "But we'll try to match it anyway."
Van Norman pulls up Samantha's NCIC record, looking for at least one of 3 crucial elements investigators use to rule out possible matches.
I'm standing at the place of death of some unidentified person, and I'm looking backwards in an attempt to understand where that person came from. There's only 3 ways to do that, and that's fingerprints, dental records, DNA. It all comes down to those.
Mary tells him Alaska authorities should have filed Samantha's fingerprints and dental records with her missing persons report. But when Van Norman pulls up Samantha's NCIC record, it lists no fingerprints or dental records on file. He contacts Anchorage authorities and learns that Samantha's fingerprints had been destroyed years earlier, after she had run away and returned to her parents' house back in Palmer, Alaska. He then asks investigators in Palmer for the dental records Mary says she'd brought in a year earlier. But after a couple of days, Van Norman still doesn't have them. Mary grows desperate, waiting for the x-rays to get to him.
I finally couldn't stand it anymore, not knowing whether it was Samantha's picture or not. It's the absolute worst time in my entire life.
Finally, Mary goes back to the dentist's office. After 19 months of sleepless nights searching for her daughter, Mary sends a scan of the x-rays in an email to Van Norman. The morning after Van Norman forwards Samantha's dental records to the forensic dentist to match against Jane Doe 1705, Van Norman gets an email with the results.
When I opened the email, the identity had been confirmed. Jane Doe 17 was Samantha Bunnell. I immediately contacted Mary Weir and confirmed the identity of Jane Doe 17 as her daughter.
I remember crying, and I was crying so hard I was shaking. I felt sad and relieved at the same time. At least now I knew where she was.
I have to think what took 19 months to make this identification. What else could we have done to make the identification faster?
Van Norman recalls telling Mary why initially he was skeptical this Jane Doe could have been her daughter.
Samantha Bunnell, according to the NCIC record, was last seen on March 6, 2006, and that's 6 months after Jane Doe 17 had died. And Mary Weir said, that can't be right.
It turns out that even though Samantha went missing in September 2005, the date on her NCIC record says she was last seen March 6, 2006. Mary learns this date corresponds to the day she filed the missing persons report with police in Palmer, Alaska. The discovery is shocking.
There's no possible way that the match could have been made with the way they filed the missing persons report.
It was obvious that the person who entered Samantha Bunnell's missing persons NCIC record into the system did not understand the implications of entering March 6th, 06. If a person is alive and well sometime after a body is found, it will be ruled out and would never be compared because the inaccurate information, they were preventing her record from ever matching against Jane Doe 17's. What was critical in this particular instance was that Mary Weir started her own investigation.
At the time she was searching for Samantha, Mary never knew about the inaccurate date on Samantha's NCIC record because it is only available to law enforcement personnel.
I did everything right. I did everything that they let me do. I did everything I could do. I filed the reports. I looked. I called. I begged. I pleaded for help. And I thought I had gotten it.
After almost 2 years, Mary finally learns why Samantha never returned from the movies that night.
I was working day shift, and it was reported to me that a young girl had been killed on the Interstate 10 freeway. She was struck by several vehicles and had been pronounced dead at the scene quite late in the evening, about 11:08.
When the girl's body was taken to the county morgue, no identifying information was found, so Van Norman gathered data to create an NCIC record for this Jane Doe, number 17 in the year 2005.
That would include her description, height, her weight, her eye color, fingerprints. It would also note the dental characteristics, which can then be compared against missing persons cases across the country.
Van Norman took photographs to create the drawing that Mary eventually saw on the Doe Network website. Samantha's picture was then distributed to the media. Tragically, since it only appeared in local media, Mary in Alaska never had a chance to see her daughter's face in the news.
Frankly, I was stunned as days turned into weeks and weeks turned into months that Jane Doe 17 was not identified. We did not believe that Jane Doe 17 was a transient because her clothing was clean, she was well nourished. This is a person who has a family, and so as the case continued on and match after match was ruled out, we were amazed.
Van Norman kept Samantha's body from being buried longer than usual, confident this young girl's family would soon find her. Once Samantha is identified, Van Norman recommends an investigation into her death due to suspicious circumstances.
The fact that she was found on the freeway in a place that a pedestrian really shouldn't have been.
Witnesses report Samantha running in the middle of the freeway when she was struck by several vehicles. And there's another troubling detail.
Her pockets had been turned out, as though someone had gone through them. My concern was that somebody may have been chasing her across the freeway and removed something from her pockets that either could have identified her or identified them.
Coming up, investigators unravel the moments before Samantha was killed. After almost 2 years, Samantha Bunnell's body is finally identified. The California Highway Patrol launches an investigation into her death. Was she the victim of a crime?
Her pockets were found turned inside out, suggesting maybe somebody had gone through her pockets after she'd been hit. It was unusual why Samantha was out on the freeway. Was somebody out there with her? Was somebody chasing her?
Sergeant Chris Fisher from the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Office investigates Samantha's unusual death. The driver who first hit Samantha recalled the frightening moment of impact.
He was traveling about 70 miles an hour, and in the blink of an eye, he saw a female running into the freeway. He said that he tried to avoid hitting her by turning to the left, but heard a thump and believes he struck her on the front right portion of his vehicle.
Detectives learned that he and other drivers couldn't have avoided hitting the 18-year-old.
Based on witness statements, Samantha was running with the flow of traffic in the center divider, and then she ran directly into traffic.
Sergeant Fisher hears a particularly disturbing detail from a driver who spotted Samantha just moments before she was hit.
One witness remembered seeing Samantha running with a blank stare on her face, almost as if she was out of it, not looking towards the vehicle that were coming at her.
Investigators question how Samantha ended up in the middle of the I-10, one of Southern California's busiest freeways.
One way, obviously, would be to run and dodge vehicles. She could get on from an on-ramp. It's possible that she was in a vehicle and dropped off on the freeway or in the center divider.
But But when Sergeant Fisher interviews drivers who stopped at the tragic scene, he gets no leads.
No one witnessed her running from the side of the freeway to the center divider. They didn't see anybody chasing her. They didn't see anybody with her. Didn't see what she was running from or where she was running to.
When Sergeant Fisher speaks to the first responders, they tell him Samantha's pockets could have been turned inside out from the force of impact.
It's not uncommon for pedestrians that are hit by vehicles to have their clothing disarray, sometimes even torn off.
Detectives investigate other explanations for Samantha's dangerous behavior that night.
I wanted to know the reason why somebody would run into traffic. Whether it was they were under the influence of alcohol or narcotics and didn't know what they were doing. Were they possibly trying to kill themselves?
Sergeant Fisher reviews Samantha's autopsy toxicology report for possible clues. What he learns seems significant.
She was under the influence of alcohol, had trace amounts of amphetamine and cannabis in her system.
When David Van Norman read the toxicology results, he didn't consider these drug and alcohol levels high enough to be a factor in her death. Investigators locate Chris, living in Missouri. They don't tell him that Samantha is dead, believing it might influence his answers. According to Chris, Samantha's substance abuse demons didn't follow her while they were together.
I know that she had experimented with methamphetamine. She never told me that, it was like a major habit. I had never known anything that she did other than smoke weed and take a drink. But she didn't do that every day.
When speaking with Samantha's mother, Mary, Sergeant Fisher learns that the rebellious 18-year-old had taken antidepressants. But by the time Samantha left for California in March 2005, Mary believes Samantha had stopped taking her medication. Still, Mary doesn't think depression led her daughter to run in front of traffic.
I don't think she got on to the center of that freeway of her own free will.
Chris also doesn't believe depression would have contributed to her death.
She never came across as depressed to me. She would have moments where she would be like solemn, and it wasn't real often. Most of the time she was in a good mood.
Sergeant Fisher probes deeper into Samantha's frame of mind that night.
I asked Chris if they had any type of disagreement or argument before she went to the movie theater, and he said that they did not.
The homicide team works to piece together Samantha's last night. Sergeant Fisher locates a movie theater about a mile from where she was killed. But now, 2 years later, no one at the theater recalls seeing Samantha run out that night.
We don't even know for sure if she was there.
With no clear leads from Samantha's last night, investigators hope Chris can help explain another mysterious clue in her case. Still not revealing that Samantha was killed, Sergeant Fisher shows him a photo of the suitcase found in South Carolina, as well as its contents.
There were my clothes in there. I'd collect like sports hats, like a baseball cap in every different town we went to. Some of my jeans were in there.
Chris recalls the last time he had the luggage, shortly after Samantha disappeared.
In between Phoenix, Arizona and Albuquerque, New Mexico, my luggage got stolen along with her stuff.
Finally, Sergeant Fisher tells Chris the real reason Samantha never returned that night, almost 2 years ago.
My heart just sank. It's because I cared about her. That shouldn't happen to anybody, but especially not Samantha. I just wish I had never let her go with people I didn't know, people that she didn't really know. If I'd have just told her not to go, then none of this would have happened. I just don't feel like I did my job as a boyfriend. Like, I feel like I let her mom down just to protect her daughter, just to be there, and I always was, and that time I wasn't. And I do want her mom to know that I'm sorry.
After speaking with Chris and examining all the other information, Sergeant Fisher concludes his investigation.
I do not believe that there was foul play involved. There was nothing to suggest that anyone had anything to do with Samantha's death.
But Mary is haunted by questions about what could have led Samantha into such a treacherous spot.
I think Samantha was in some kind of trouble that night. Somebody may have been making a drug deal and thought she had drugs in her pocket. I don't know whether the magazine sales group got in a fight with her and pushed her out in the middle of the freeway, or if some stranger picked her up and she jumped out of the car.
Meanwhile, Samantha's case has motivated Van Norman to educate families and law enforcement about the need for identifier records like fingerprints, dental records, and DNA to make even more matches.
Just the idea, the image of Mary sitting there at night in the glare of a computer screen and seeing these images, some of which are just awful. Somehow, I knew that this is why we do what it is that we do. There are thousands of mothers who wonder what happened to their children. Every one of those unidentified persons has a name that I don't know, but that I'm going to make it my mission in life to try to send home.
Mary. Oh, it's such an honor to finally be with you.
Now, Mary works as an advocate, helping other families find their missing loved ones, and working with law enforcement to create new policies and training in reporting missing persons.
What's great is you're turning this tragedy into a message.
I couldn't sit and do nothing. My message for the families is be proactive. It just breaks my heart to think of all of these bodies out there that they have families, they have names. She wasn't Jane Doe number 17. She was my daughter. And she was beautiful and vibrant and full of life. Hundreds of thousands of families that are living in the pain that I lived in. And it's got to be stopped. That's the only thing that gives me the strength to even get out of bed some days. It's what Samantha would want me to do. She would not want me to let her death just be it.
Disappears without a trace. Often the most critical information is hidden in their actions and words from the days before they vanished. Rosemary Christensen's last known whereabouts may hold the clues to what happened to her. Australian Rosemary Christensen is outgoing and friendly. She likes to socialize.
With no phone calls, nobody answering the home phone, there was something very wrong.
The thing that stands out was my pleading with her to please come stay with me, be safe.
But when she goes missing, it is her husband who pleads for help.
Please, if anybody's seen Rose, know where she's at, please.
I didn't believe any of it for a minute. I knew he had done something to Rosemary and it wasn't going to be good.
As nearly 10 years pass, the case goes cold until...
I felt that someday my phone would ring, and I thought at that point in time I would be able to come forward.
This is the mystery of how Rosemary Christensen disappeared. "43-year-old Rosemary Christensen is a well-respected realtor near Clearwater, Florida.
She was the friendliest, nicest, sweetest person ever.
She cared a lot about people, and in turn, people cared a lot about her.
The day Rosemary went missing starts just like any other. Rosemary is on her way to work at a local real estate firm for the daily meeting.
It's always the same. We do our pump-up, rah-rah sessions and then listen about new listings and just a normal day.
As her day progresses, Rosemary gets some great news. One of her properties has sold, and she's elated.
She'd worked hard on this contract, and it came through. And, you know, once something like that happens, she would just get overjoyed over it.
Moments like this are the reason Rosemary loves the real estate business. And the business loves her.
She was
excellent. She knew what her job was and did it very, very well.
She was very dedicated, very hardworking. I mean, she took things so seriously. In fact, she had won several awards and everything, and she'd only been in it for a couple of years.
Rosemary began her realty career in 1997, shortly after moving to the United States from Holland. In Holland, she was the wife of a diplomat, a role she relished that took her all over the world. Rosemary's Australian accent, cordiality, and worldliness help her connect with practically everyone she meets.
I met Rosemary at an open house. I had done real estate for a long time, and she's just starting. And then we also got into her background, which was diplomatic. I had a diplomatic background as well. And we instantly hit it off.
Before moving to America, Rosemary also hits it off with someone she meets on the internet, a 47-year-old man from Illinois named Robert G. Temple.
We were just friends at first and it evolved into phone calls. She told me about she was married to a diplomat and, and naturally I didn't believe her when she had told me and all the people that she had met and presidents that she had been to dinners with. I thought it was internet chat, so I think I might have been a secret agent or who knows, how people exaggerate.
He had told her that he was with the FBI, that he had several homes in several places, and somehow or another he convinced her to come over to the United States to meet him in person.
Rosemary separates from her husband and flies to Chicago to meet Temple, who's surprised to learn she's been truthful about herself from day one.
When she did come to see me, I knew she was telling the truth, and I had already told her, and I felt so ashamed, that, I'm just a farm boy from Illinois.
Rosemary gets divorced, and after a 6-month courtship, Rosemary and Robert get married and settle in the quiet community of Bel Air, Florida. In this condo, which Rosemary pays for, Rosemary's friends don't really understand the attraction.
When I first met Robert Temple, I had no idea what Rosemary was doing with him.
We're still trying to figure that one out.
Whatever her friends think, Rosemary and Robert do seem to enjoy a true, loving bond.
Sometimes opposites attract, which they do in many relationships. Whatever goes on behind closed doors is something we're not ever privy to, but they must have had something to be together.
Thursday, August 26th, 1999, back at work, Rosemary continues to celebrate the property she sold. While she runs through the office parking lot to tell coworkers the good news, she trips and falls onto her knee.
I believe her heel got caught in the asphalt and she skinned her knee. And there's a little scratch.
And she'd ripped her hose, so we Band-Aided it up because it hadn't run yet or anything. So she was okay, but she was like so upset about her hose having a hole in it now because she had an appointment.
Meeting with clients is the part of the job Rosemary enjoys the most.
She would take people out to dinner and to lunch and show them where to go.
When she was with clients, they warmed up to her instantly, and we never felt anything but comfortable with her going out with the clients.
But her husband, Robert, worries about the kind of people Rosemary may meet.
That was the only time I ever worried about her was at night. I shouldn't say this, but sometimes I would go ahead and follow her.
At 2 p.m., just 5 hours before her disappearance, Rosemary has an appointment with clients.
I know she was showing property to a couple that she met up in Bel Air Beach.
Rosemary meets her clients at the Bel Air Beach Resort Motel. Next, she takes them to view a number of properties. At one home, Rosemary gets a call on her cell phone around 3:30.
Robert had been calling her
I called and she said, I'm probably going to be late because I've got about 20 places I can show her if she wants to see them all. We'll just go with whatever she wants to do. But I'll call you before I come home.
A half hour later, Rosemary's phone rings again. This time, Rosemary is annoyed and excuses herself.
Nothing worse than when you're trying to show somebody a house and you're getting interrupted and you lose your train of thought.
At around 5:30 that afternoon, Rosemary apologizes for the interruption and wraps up the appointment. Then she schedules another appointment for 11 a.m. the next day. Rosemary says goodbye to her client and then heads home. This is the last time Rosemary Christensen is seen. The next day, Rosemary's client shows up at the realty office looking for Rosemary. It's unusual that Rosemary didn't call in, but coworker Kathy assumes Rosemary's absence is likely connected to problems she's having with Robert.
The first thing I did think was, okay, they had a falling out, and here she's not coming in. But I just kind of let it go.
Most of the day goes by, and still, no call from Rosemary. Her coworkers are prepping for a company beach party the next day, and Rosemary fails to help as planned.
She was supposed to be making a potato salad for this party, and she didn't have a bowl big enough, so she had asked one of the associates if she could borrow a big bowl. So they put this bowl out and had it sitting out there waiting for her on Friday to pick up, and she never came. And I said, well, she still got Saturday. I mean, it doesn't take long to make potato salad.
But deep down, Kathy thinks Rosemary might be avoiding her coworkers, because Kathy's come to know a secret detail of Rosemary's home life. It's Friday, August 27th, 1999. Florida realtor Rosemary Christensen hasn't been seen since the night before. Her coworker Kathy McKinnon thinks it might be because Rosemary and her husband, Robert Temple, had an argument. In fact, Kathy worries that Rosemary may be hiding from sight. She can't forget something Rosemary told her just a month earlier.
She wanted me to know that she's having problems with Robert and that they'd had major domestic fights. And the reason why she was not in the office, she'd be gone for a couple days, is because she was too embarrassed that a bruise would show.
I hate the fact that people think that I could ever hurt Rosemary. You know, I never hurt Rose, threatened her, or anything.
On Saturday, August 28th, Kathy hopes Rosemary will come out of hiding to attend the company beach party. Rosemary and Robert went to the party the year before, but this year, they're both a no-show.
See, she never came, and I had been calling her, and she's with no response.
Rosemary's boss then pages her multiple times.
And the more pages went by without a response, the more elevated the concern became.
After that, the party was over, still no Rosemary. I just figured that she and Robert had a fight and that she was at home trying to make the wounds go away so no one would see it.
The next morning, Kathy and a coworker are worried about Rosemary. They head over to her condominium to check up on her. But Kathy knows that in order to get to Rosemary, she might have to confront Robert.
Robert never really liked me.
As Kathy and a male coworker arrive at the condominium complex to look for Rosemary, they notice Robert's motorcycle and Rosemary's car are still sitting in their parking lot. The vehicles make Kathy wonder why her phone calls have gone unanswered if both Rosemary and Robert are still at home.
I knew something was really wrong then.
Kathy wanders around the back of the complex toward Rosemary's condo, Unit 148.
And all the windows were closed, all the drapes were pulled. It was just dark. I mean, there was nobody you couldn't see in. And that's when we called the Bel Air police.
Soon the police arrive. A locksmith opens the condo, and an officer enters the home. After the police search the home, They contact Rosemary's best friend, Laurel.
I got a phone call that they were at her condo. Then he proceeded to tell me that the carpet was missing. At that point, I started crying because I had been at her house just recently. The carpet was new, it was beautiful, the walls were freshly painted.
Rosemary had just remodeled her condo, and my carpet guy helped, and I knew something was really, really wrong at that moment.
Desperate for answers, Kathy calls Robert Temple's family in Decatur, Illinois, and speaks to a woman who answers the phone.
I just asked if she had seen Robert, and she said that Robert was up there in Illinois. And I said, well, is Rosemary with him? And she said no. And I said, well, we can't seem to find Rosemary. And she asked me if I had looked in the trunk of Rosemary's car for her. I asked her why would she say something like that, and she goes, well, you know they've been having problems.
What was allegedly said intensifies Kathy's suspicions about Robert. She's somewhat surprised when moments later, Robert calls her back.
I said, Robert, where's Rosemary? And then he started getting all upset and said, did she leave me, Kathy? Did she leave me? I said, I don't know, Robert. All I want to know is, where is she? Do you know where she is? And that's when he says that she went off with some people Thursday night, and he left town. I told him he was lying. I said, Robert, don't be telling me this kind of crap. He just says, I know you're not going to believe it, but it doesn't matter. That's exactly what the point is.
Kathy goes straight to the police and files a missing persons report. The rest of Rosemary's co-workers fan out around the community, looking for signs of their missing friend.
Anybody sees her or anything, that number. Okay.
Groups went around driving the different neighborhoods to see if there's any signs of Rosemary at all. We did not come up with anything.
Beggins is so worried, he hires a private investigator who specializes in missing persons cases, Dick Price.
He said he was very, very concerned about it, as much as all the girls were, and that's how it really got into it, and that's where it started that day.
As the search for Rosemary ramps up, Pinellas County Sheriff's detectives take over the investigation and attempt to locate Temple.
They learned rather quickly that he was in Illinois visiting relatives, I believe, and he had planned that trip, he said, beforehand, and it was a point of some dispute with his wife, some argument, some disagreement, he later explained.
They learn Rosemary's husband isn't only with his relatives, he's with another woman.
His traveling companion was a 22-year-old woman by the name of Leslie Stewart. Obviously, that raises everybody's suspicion to some degree. At the time, the suggestion, of course, between the lines was that this was not a perfect marriage if there was a girlfriend involved.
Robert met Leslie Stewart while both worked as customer service agents at a phone sex and psychic hotline.
Probably within a couple of weeks after I met her, we were having sex every day, either in the back parking lot at work, in her car, or in the bathroom at work.
Back in Florida, detectives officially search the condo. They find a collection of used cleaning products and painting supplies, items that were purchased the morning after Rosemary's disappearance at a nearby Walmart by Robert Temple using Rosemary's credit card.
I was able to obtain the receipt from Walmart. It was Clorox, it was Febreze, and scrub brushes, a knife, duct tape, anything that could be used to either clean evidence up or erase a crime scene.
But there's one item listed on the receipt that leaves private investigator Dick Price perplexed: a tote with wheel. Price obtained one to try to figure out why Temple would have purchased it, and why it is the only item police couldn't locate.
My thoughts were that this is just a perfect piece of equipment that could get rid of, number one, all of the carpet real easy, and also to be able to dispose of a body.
At the time, detectives report that Rosemary's husband, Robert Temple, is cooperating and has agreed to return to Florida for further questioning.
We've said before that he is not a suspect. He has the understanding we'd like to speak to him.
Authorities don't name Temple a suspect because solid evidence linking him to Rosemary's disappearance hasn't been discovered. Also, it seems possible Temple really doesn't know what happened to his wife. Temple left messages for her on their home answering machine, and he even left her a note.
Dear Rose, I was hoping to see you before I left, but I decided to go ahead and go today instead of waiting until tomorrow. Tried phoning and beeping you, but guess you were out of range. Wish you could have gone with me, but maybe next time. Take care, and I'll be back on Tuesday. I love you, lady. Rob. And then in the bottom of the note, he said, also, the tile guy said he could do it next week once we got all the painting done. Promise me you'll like this shade of white this time. Ha ha. Rosemary and I had recently been at her home, and she had never mentioned to me anything about getting tile. The whole note was bogus, designed to put the sheriff's off into a missing persons search.
I didn't believe any of it for a minute. I knew he had done something to Rosemary, and it wasn't going to be good.
Why are Rosemary's friends so convinced Robert has done something terrible to his wife? When Robert Temple's criminal records surface, revealing a violent past, their concerns only escalate. On September 26, 1999, Tampa Bay area realtor Rosemary Christensen disappears.
This was a big deal. It was a big deal because Rosemary Christensen was a well-liked, if not loved, realtor who had a lot of friends and coworkers who cared a great deal about her.
Police hope her husband, Robert G. Temple, can help them locate Rosemary. But her best friends think something horrible has happened. Their suspicions stem from incidents of alleged verbal and physical abuse involving her husband.
When Rosemary and I first started talking about the abuse that was mainly the verbal that was bothering her, Robert would say stuff about her weight, just hurtful things. I think as the relationship got strained, it escalated.
She told me about one incident in a townhouse they lived at and that he had hit her.
The incident occurred on the night of July 14th, 1997, in Clearwater, Florida. According to police records and these photographs, Rosemary sustained injuries to her cheek and eye. But her husband Robert claims it was all an accident.
Rose was up opening the door right as I tripped over a box and hit the door and knocked her back, and I'm still falling forward in the door. It cut her eye right here. It split her eye. I mean, it was bleeding like there's no tomorrow.
Temple was arrested for domestic battery, but Rosemary asked for the charges to be dropped, and Temple pleaded no contest to disorderly conduct. Despite the incident, Rosemary and Robert marry 3 weeks later.
Robert continued to tell her, I'll change. I'm sorry. I won't do it again.
Abuser's first defense is to say, oh, it was an accident. And in some ways, it was a plausible excuse, except when you add up all these things together, it just didn't look good.
As the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office continues to wait for Temple's return from Illinois, his record of criminal offenses surfaces in the local media. In 1996, just over a year before marrying Rosemary, Temple pleaded guilty to domestic battery of his previous wife in Decatur, Illinois. He claims the incident was an unfortunate misunderstanding.
My wife and I were kind of drunk, and we were on the front porch. I started to go off, and I grabbed her, and we both went off into the bushes. Her mom saw that, called the police on me.
That wasn't Temple's only brush with the law. He served about 5 years in prison back in 1975 for involuntary manslaughter in the violent death of a girlfriend's 18-month-old child. Temple says someone else killed the child, but he took the rap.
He clearly had a violent past.
We're starting to see a lot of the past issues, especially with the husband before that we really didn't know anything about, and there's a lot of concern.
Jeff and I both looked at each other, and at that moment we knew she was gone.
1 week after Rosemary's disappearance, and the morning after her 44th birthday, her husband Robert finally returns for questioning. He later joins the detectives at the condo. The local press is also on the scene.
And at our request, they agreed to ask him to come out and talk to us in the pool area of the condominium. So as he walked up to us, I believe every one of us had a whole lot of questions we wanted to ask him.
Can you tell us when you first found out how it all started from the beginning?
They called me in Illinois and told me that I needed to call Rose's, where Rose worked, because they said she was missing.
It was clear that he was presenting himself as a man who was in great anguish over the fate of his wife.
Rose and I haven't been apart this long since we've been married. And I miss her so bad. I just want her back. Please, if anybody's seen Rose, know where she's at, please. Just tell her, just call, just please let us know.
When Rosemary's best friend Laurel sees the interview, she's immediately dubious.
His hands were trembling and he was crying, but there were no tears.
I didn't believe that would really happen.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone try to work up a tear as hard as he did that day and failed to do so.
Not buying the emotion, Douglas asks Temple some tougher questions.
Sir, pardon the directness of my question, but have detectives asked you whether you killed your wife?
Yes.
And what did you tell them?
I told him no. I could never hurt Rose. I'd rather be dead than anything ever happened to her.
As the interview continues, Temple reveals he last saw his wife the night of her disappearance at around 7 o'clock, an hour and a half after she left her client that day. He says she left home to meet some people he didn't know, but that he didn't expect her to return that evening. Why? Away from the cameras, he drops a bombshell.
They lived an alternative lifestyle, he said. They were swingers.
To reporters, it seems plausible, but Rosemary's closest friends dispute the swinger story.
Rosemary would have never gotten involved in anything shady or along that line, much less swinging.
She was not a swinger. She was not that type of person.
You know, there's always two sides to every story, but it certainly seems complete polar opposite of the Rosemary that I knew. But from what I saw, it didn't seem to jive.
Reporter Mark Douglas investigated the story, but cannot substantiate Temple's claims.
I don't think anyone, especially not myself, ever found any evidence to prove that. On the other hand, I believe there was a lot of evidence that Mr. Temple and his girlfriend at the time, Leslie Stewart, lived that lifestyle.
Meanwhile, detectives have reportedly found blood traces on a piece of carpet from the condo. Surprisingly, Temple acknowledges the blood was most likely Rosemary's.
He said that his wife accidentally cut herself, and he cut the square out of the carpet because he couldn't get the blood out of it.
Temple says Rosemary's injury came from a fall onto her knee at work, exactly 1 week earlier.
It wasn't a scratch. Rosemary fell down a couple of times. That's how bad she hurt her leg, because it had really bled. But she said what hurt her worse was her colleagues walking past her and nobody offering to help her.
Rosemary's boss, Jeff Beggins, doesn't remember it that way.
I actually bandaged it up with a Band-Aid, and it was a minor scrape, if anything.
Kathy McKinnon remembers another detail from that day, which she subsequently tells police.
After she had fallen and we had gotten everything fixed and stuff, she was outside smoking a cigarette, and she came right up to me. She said, "Kathy, do you think that Robert is plotting to kill me?"
It's an ominous statement, but still does not tie Robert Temple to Rosemary's disappearance.
If you talk to any other Rose's colleagues, Rose did not share her personal life. Trust me, I would have known that. I do not believe that she just walked up out of the clear blue and said that to this woman. That, I believe, is a falsehood and a lie. After
the press conference, Temple goes on with his day. Although the Pinellas County sheriffs still don't name him a suspect, the local press doggedly pursues him and his girlfriend, Leslie Stewart. After days of media scrutiny, he and Stewart meet with an attorney for help dealing with the press, but the lawyer advises the couple to retain separate counsel. And Leslie is referred to defense attorney J. Hebert. What Hebert is about to learn might just be the big break investigators have been hoping for, but he won't be able to reveal anything for 9 long years. It's been almost 1 full week since Tampa Bay realtor Rosemary Christensen was last seen. Police have searched her home and questioned her husband, Robert Temple, but they have no suspects or evidence to solve her disappearance. The local press shadows the husband and his girlfriend, Leslie Stewart. But eventually, the couple tires of the attention and seeks legal representation to handle the media. Leslie Stewart meets with local attorney J. Hebert.
For at the time, we engaged in an attorney-client conversation, and we listened to everything she had to say, and we did everything we could to represent her the best we could at the time.
What Stewart discusses with Hebert remains confidential, and after their meeting, Hebert never expects to hear from Stewart again. "10 days after Rosemary's disappearance, leads are scarce. To keep the case alive, Rosemary's boss, Jeff Beggins, offers a reward for Rosemary's safe return.
We're taking that into our own hands, making sure that we're doing everything that we can because she's one of our own, and we're not going to rest until she's found.
We put up a $10,000 cash reward. Dollar bills, loose lips, a lot quicker than going in with a gold badge and asking questions and interviews.
After volunteers distribute flyers throughout the area, people come forward and offer private investigator Dick Price some new information.
In probably 1 week, maybe 10 days, I received about 13 to 15 phone calls. There were some people that, boy, they would have liked to have collected that $10,000, but they didn't know enough to put the nail in the coffin.
Over 1 month passes. Rosemary is still missing, without a trace. Her husband rents a moving van and packs up all of their belongings.
I had the condo under surveillance when I came across Robert with a large Penske moving truck. I sat and observed and saw Robert bringing out items and loading the van up.
Temple leaves town with Leslie Stewart.
They got away scot-free. They absolutely had no problems packing up Rosemary's belongings, getting out of town.
Because authorities don't have strong enough evidence, they cannot detain either Temple or Stewart.
When he left, there really wasn't much more to say about this, and the story more or less died down.
Months go by. Fewer and fewer leads materialize. Then, one last ray of hope comes a year and a half later, on May 1st, 2001. A psychic calls and leads police to a local pond. Divers search the water, but they come up empty. Meanwhile, Temple and Stewart travel around the country. They finally settle over 3,000 miles away from Bel Air, Florida, in the Northern California city of Redding. The pair has a child in 2005. But back in Florida, Rosemary's friend Laurel thinks the couple and their secrets will eventually come unglued.
Knowing what a control freak he was, I knew that either he was going to kill Leslie or he was going to threaten her one too many times and she was going to come forward.
The relationship does unravel when Temple allegedly threatens Leslie on August 25th, 2008.
This all happened to coincide right around the 9th anniversary of Rosemary's disappearance. Almost 9 years to the date, Leslie was preparing to go to this family reunion in Washington State. Before she left, Mr. Temple pulled this rather large knife, put it to her throat, and said, if you say anything, or if you talk about this, I'll kill you, and I'll kill myself, and I'll kill our daughter.
Temple denies Stewart's story.
Leslie, off the top of her head, fabricated that about me pulling a knife on her and putting it to her throat and threatening her. It's really simple. None of the incident happened.
While visiting her family 10 days later, Stewart allegedly tells them about her recent spat with Temple. She decides the only way to change her situation is to get police involved. On September 3rd, 2008, Stewart sets her plan into motion. She calls someone she hasn't spoken to for 9 years, attorney J. Hebert.
And Leslie said, hi, Jay, it's Leslie Stewart. Do you remember me? And candidly, the name didn't just jump off the page at me, but then the next line did. And she said, about 9 years ago, and immediately at that point in time, the 9 years, I put 2 and 2 together. And I realized that I was talking to my client, who I had not had a conversation with in 9 years. And I was really curious as to why she was calling.
Now, all these years later, Stewart tells Hebert she wants to come forward and reveal the secrets of Rosemary Christensen's whereabouts. Her information will break the case wide open. Tampa Bay realtor Rosemary Christensen has been missing since August 26, 1999. But 9 years later, authorities are about to get a huge break in what's become a cold case. It comes from Leslie Stewart, the girlfriend of Rosemary's husband, Robert Temple. She calls attorney J. Hebert and tells him she wants to turn Temple in.
She had told me for the very first time in almost 9 years that she had had an opportunity to be away from Mr. Temple for an extended period of time, and that she was ready to come forward and explain the details of Rosemary's disappearance.
Stewart gives Hebert the same information she gave him the last time they spoke. A story that's haunted him, that he's kept confidential for 9 years. The reason?
In any legal situation, when a client comes in and consults with an attorney, the attorney-client privilege applies. And what that means loosely is that whatever a client tells a lawyer should be kept in confidence, and that we cannot reveal that information to anyone for any reason, unless, of course, later the client waives that privilege.
Now, Stewart does waive the privilege and allows Hebert to get the police involved. She will reveal what happened to Rosemary Christensen. On September 3rd, 2008, Pinellas County Sheriff's detectives fly across country to secretly interview Stewart at her family reunion just south of Seattle. Leslie Stewart tells the detectives, on the night of Rosemary's disappearance, August 26, 1999, that Robert Temple called her multiple times, insisting that she come to his condo as soon as possible. She arrives to allegedly find Temple drunk and making strange statements.
One of the things was that he had been involved in a child manslaughter out of state. Additionally, he advised her that there was no such thing as the Witness Protection Program, another somewhat bizarre out-of-left-field comment.
As Stewart wonders what Temple is talking about, he leads her into the bedroom he shares with his wife, Rosemary. Stewart is stunned by what she sees.
Leslie Stewart saw Rosemary Christensen laying in a pool of blood. She wasn't breathing, her eyes were shut, and it was quite obvious that Rosemary was deceased.
According to police records, Temple tells Stewart that he was sitting in front of his computer when Rosemary, who he thought was asleep, snuck up from behind and hit him on the head with the butt end of a large knife. Temple tells Stewart he and his wife struggled, and that he accidentally stabbed Rosemary.
It was at that point in time that Leslie compounded the situation by making some bad decisions. She helped with the cover-up. She helped dispose of the body, and she continued with the cover-up story that Robert Temple had come up with. And she did all of this because she was scared of Robert Temple.
Stewart's story is the break police have been hoping for. But before they can arrest Robert Temple for Rosemary's murder, they must first locate the only evidence in the case, Rosemary's body, and Stewart must lead them to it. But they worry about how Temple will react if he learns of Stewart's activities.
We did not want Mr. Temple to get nervous about her not coming back or returning phone calls. There was concern that Mr. Temple had actually threatened to kill Leslie, and then he would kill their daughter, and then he would kill himself.
Police in Redding, California arrest Temple for making the threats 10 days earlier. But Temple denies the allegations.
She is so treacherous and vicious, you have no idea. She told the police 10 days after the incident was supposed to happen with the knife. 10 days later, no human being that I know would wait 10 days. Why didn't she drive straight to the police? It's because it was a damn lie to begin with, that's what. So.
While Temple is in police custody, and the couple's 3-year-old daughter is with Child Protective Services, Stewart flies to Florida with Pinellas County detectives. She takes them to property along the Suwannee River in the north-central region of Gilchrist County, Florida.
Leslie was fortunate that she was able to take them to the area where the body was buried and located.
Just as Leslie had told J.A. Baer 9 years before, investigators find Rosemary's body stuffed in a green plastic tub, like the one listed on the Walmart receipt. Shortly after the discovery, police in California charged Temple with first-degree murder of his wife, Rosemary Christensen. Rosemary's family and friends are saddened, but relieved to hear the news. Finally, after so many years, they learn what they believe to be the truth.
The family and I knew years ago that he had killed her.
I always knew that someday he was going to slip up because he wasn't that smart.
Temple has been extradited back to Pinellas County, Florida, to face murder charges. But he says they've got the wrong person.
I did help dispose of Rosemary's body. I did help cover up that crime. Those are very serious felonies, too. I deserve to be punished for what I did, and I won't lie about that. But I did not kill Rosemary, and I don't deserve to be punished for that.
Temple says it was Leslie who killed Rosemary. According to his story, Leslie was at the condo waiting for him to come home, to have a secret tryst. But Rosemary came home first. Temple says Leslie pretended she was there to pick up a computer disk, but Rosemary didn't believe her.
She said she turned around to leave, and out of the corner of her eye, she said Rose attacked her. Then they started struggling, pulling hair. When she was wrestling around with Rose, Rose knocked her back on the bed. Rose was on top of her, and they rolled so hard that they rolled right off the edge of the bed onto the floor. When they landed, Rose hit the floor first. Leslie was on top of her, and she thought Rose had knocked herself out because she wasn't moving anymore. But when she got up, she saw the knife sticking in Rose.
Well, let's just look at it simply. He was 9 years ago declaring and promising that he had nothing to do with it. So it goes to show you what a liar he is. So I'm going to believe what he's got to say now.
I would submit to you that Robert Temple is a desperate man who has spent a life manipulating individuals, and he is desperately trying to manipulate this situation.
For her part, Stewart may receive immunity from prosecution in a deal struck with the state attorney's office.
We hammered out, in essence, a gentleman's agreement. The gentleman's agreement dealt with 3 primary issues. Number 1, that she testified truthfully. Number 2, that she had nothing to do with the actual homicide. And number 3, and probably most importantly, is that she helped produce or find Rosemary's body.
Rosemary's friends feel a sense of closure, but they're also eager to see Robert Temple punished.
Should it be death or should it be life in prison? I'm almost swaying now towards life in prison because, from what I understand, those circumstances are not the most pleasant.
Robert Temple looks forward to his day in court, where he will be able to face his accuser, the woman who he claims is Rosemary's killer.
But I'll be damned if I'm just gonna lay down and die until people know the truth.
Honestly, I believe that I'm going to be found not guilty.
And I know a lot of people think that I did something bad to her, but I didn't. And that's the honest to God truth. And just because Leslie and I stayed together doesn't mean that I forgot about Rose. I never forgot about Rose. I've got her picture now in my billfold the whole 9 years that we were gone. I always carried a picture of Rose. I always did.
As Rosemary's friends' lives go on, they carry their memories of Rosemary deep in their hearts.
Rosemary was the most kind, loyal, devoted person. She didn't deserve to have this end. And as again, I'm glad, I'm very glad that it's all over and she's happy.
दुनिया दो दिन दी बंदावे मौत दमाल दुनिया दो दिन दी दुनिया दो दिन दी बंदावे मौत दमाल दुनिया दो दिन दी आए कर तू कुछ ख्याल दुनिया दो दिन दी खाक समाए ओढ़क जा बिच खाक समाए आए हो गए ख्वाब ख्याल दुनिया दो दिन दी आए हो गए ख्वाब ख्याल दुनिया दो दिन दी दुनिया दो दिन दी बंदावे मौत दा माल दुनिया दो दिन दी ऊंचे लम्हे महल बना दे ऊंचे लम्हे महल बना दे दगा फरेब ते जुल्म कमा दे दगा फरेब ते जुल्म कमा दे हाय कुछ नहीं खड़ते नाल दुनिया दो दिन दी हाय कुछ नहीं खड़ते नाल दुनिया दो दिन दी ओ दुनिया दो दिन दी बंदावे मौत दा माल दुनिया दो दिन दी दुनिया देंदी दुख बतेरे दुनिया देंदी दुख बतेरे वीरा कोलू वीर नखेड़े वीरा कोलू वीर नखेड़े आए मावा तू बिछड़े लाल दुनिया दो दिन दी आए मावा तू बिछड़े लाल दुनिया दो दिन दी ओ दुनिया दो दिन दी बंदावे मौत दा माल दुनिया दो दिन दी सुख दे सजना सारे संगी सुख दे सजना सारे संगी ना नस जांदे जद आवे तंगी नस जांदे जद आवे तंगी हाय कोई नहीं गम दा प्याल दुनिया दो दिन दी ओह कोई नहीं गम दा प्याल दुनिया दो दिन दी हसना रोना गम लाचारी हसना रोना गम लाचारी आज मेरी कल तेरी बारी आज मेरी कल तेरी बारी हाय कंजरी दीनी मिसाल दुनिया दो दिन दी हाय कर तू कुछ ख्याल दुनिया दो दिन दी ओ दुनिया दो दिन दी बंदा बे मौत दा माल दुनिया दो दिन दी ओह कर तू कुछ ख्याल दुनिया दो दिन दी भूत वे तुड़ानी मिट्टी दा वीरा भूत तुड़ानी मिट्टी दा वीरा अपना आप संभाल बशीरा अपना आप संभाल बशीरा हाय मिट्टी मिट्टी दा माल दुनिया दो दिन दी हाय मिट्टी मिट्टी दा माल दुनिया दो दिन दी हाय कर तू कुछ ख्याल दुनिया दो दिन दी हाय कर तू कुछ ख्याल दुनिया दो दिन दी ओ दुनिया दो दिन दी बंदा मिट्टी दा माल दुनिया दो दिन दी हाय कर तू कुछ ख्याल दुनिया दो दिन दी हाय कर तू कुछ ख्याल दुनिया दो दिन दी दुनिया दो दिन दी बंदा बे मौत दा माल दुनिया दो दिन दी दुनिया दो दिन दी बंदा बे मौत दा माल दुनिया दो दिन दी आए कर तू कुछ ख्याल दुनिया दो दिन दी सुल्तान भी आए बड़े बड़े सुल्तान भी आए ओढ़क जा बिच खाक समाए ओढ़क जा बिच खाक समाए हाय हो गए ख्वाब ख्याल दुनिया दो दिन दी हाय हो गए ख्वाब ख्याल दुनिया दो दिन दी दुनिया दो दिन दी बंदा बे मौत दा माल दुनिया दो दिन दी